Hey, Steve Zanardo here with Treviso North. Just a quick update on the market, current inventory right now. And again, what we're talking about is every week is going to be redundant. We're going to be packing on 1,000 units. So last week to this week, so 7 days, we packed on 1,500 units. So we're at 24,000 units, and this is the most I've ever seen in the history of me in real estate. This is also 6% increase since last week in just 1 week. Sales have stayed very similar, so 736. Just remember, like, these next months right now are going to be the highest sales of the year, and then once we get into even April is going to be, you're going to see drop off, to be honest. But then you're going to start seeing this drop off May, June, and July, where you'll start seeing these probably like 300 to 400 sales per week rather than the 700. So it'll probably cut it in half. We'll reduce by, let's say, 50. We had a great week on both sides of the border. I believe we did 4 deals last week in Toronto. Literally a few listings, a few buyer sales, which are great. Some are contingent on sale of other properties. We picked up a few more listings, and then also we have a few appointments this week already set up, which is great. So business is rolling quite well. Even the Nobleton project, we're getting a lot of inquiries, which are great. I'm not sure if this is a spur of the rate decrease, but it's definitely helping out. Across the border into the state of Florida, we've had a great week too last week. Literally 4 sales, double-ended property, bidding wars on that exact property. Again, a few sales, and then also we broke the code on passive income. Right now we're buying 2,600 square foot houses for under $300,000, which on the market right now for rental is like $2,600 to $2,800 a month, which gives us passive income, like positive income right off the hop, which is great. So we cracked the code there. I want to talk about a few things economically going forward. Obviously, we're advising clients right now, you got to be sharp on pricing. Clearly, this is all what we changed in our business, both sides of the border, was being sharper on pricing. You know, we can't be docile where we just expect the market to do its own thing. We're going to have to take charge, and this is obviously, we're calling our clients, not the easiest conversations to have when telling them that their house is not worth as much as they think it is, and that they're the highest bidder on the home currently right now. But at the end, I have my own personal properties on the market, both sides of the border, and every time I adjust that price down, I get a whole new string of buyers and showings coming out that are more in their price range. Hopefully now the one in Florida, we had one great showing on the weekend. We had showings every week, but at the same time, they're debating between our home and another home, 2 different locations. So they picked our house in this location and another one in another location. So hopefully we can get that sold. In Toronto, same thing. We have a piece of land I'm trying to sell, adjust the price, get it under a certain amount, and literally I got a whole string of buyers, people showing up, people want to submit offers. So that's all good news, and that's what we're advising clients. Don't be the highest bid in your home. Reduce your price down that makes sense to a buyer that submit an offer. What we want to do also is, I was talking to Mike about this morning, is that when we get feedback from agents, every we have like 5 main questions that they're asked, and then they respond to them, or they just send you a text. We're going to decipher this code to our clients because we know what it means. And for example, when an agent says your home is too small, that's a direct correlation to price. That your house is too expensive for the size of the home currently. So that's what that does. It's literally a deciphering code. So if you keep seeing or getting feedback of your property that it's too small, it's a direct correlation that you're asking too much for the size of your home, if that makes sense. So you're gonna want to adjust that down. You'll start to see that. But we're gonna decipher a few of these codes. I think this is a good idea going forward. When we're meeting with clients, I want them to understand what the feedback really means, because we know what it is, but we don't transfer that knowledge to our clients. They're never gonna understand it, and they're gonna think, well, it's too small for these buyers, and they're gonna go buy something else. No, they're gonna buy the same size house for a lower price, and then we lose on the sale because we're not deciphering the code. We're just advising clients, get to the market now. Clearly, we have a few months here to get some real headwind, and then ultimately it's going to be, I think, stagnation going into the summer months. Clearly, even before that, I think by June, July. So even telling the team, both sides of the border, we need to basically get as much as we can in the baskets right now, and then eat slowly to at least third and fourth quarter, because I don't know, I see there's going to be a drop off at some point, but I hope I'm wrong, to be honest. Another thing too, is it a touchy subject? Maybe it is. I mean, this is my job. ultimately, who cares who you vote for, like left or right? Obviously, we're conservative voters. I don't know if you can tell or not, like state and country on this leader. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. I think we all have. It doesn't matter which party you vote for. We all have the same goal: is to better the next generation as a parent. So our kids to have a better place for them economically, safer place, more opportunities, and a place for them to grow clearly and enjoy life. That's the whole goal of being a parent, is to better the next generation. And I always tell my kids, like, I want you to be better than me, like smarter, sharper, make more money. Like, that's my goal. There's zero ego. That's what I am. I'm cradling these guys to be a better version of me and my wife. So I would imagine both sides believe the same thing. You know, we kind of look at Canada now, the last 10 years, and I voted against the Liberals going into power because you kind of see the play. When you're going on like buzzwords to get elected, you know it's going to be bullshit. Like, come on, the marijuana law literally pushed them into just pushed them out, pushed them in a whole different realm. You know, the conservatives are not really good at this stuff, and they got smoked. Like, they continuously get smoked. And so basically, the guy won the vote on buzzwords, you know, and yeah, he legalized marijuana, not a bad thing at all. But at the same time, that's what the economic push was. I need you to understand what you're going to do for the economy of the country to kind of better us. And there was never there. So I was definitely against the Liberal Party going into power. I mean, it's not a mystery if you know who I am. But I didn't realize how bad it was going to get. I figured, you know, we'd have something, and then there'd be a flip, and then we could some correction, like how we usually have like a tennis match between both parties, and then one screws it up, one betters it, and it's just this constant flow. But at least we're projected in the right direction. 2017 was definitely another rude awakening, and that was the holding corps, when Morneau and Trudeau wanted to tap into the holding corps and then tax that. If you're a small business owner like we are, the holding corp is basically everything that you have to run the business. It's your safety net, it's your retirement. It's basically, if you need to dip into funds when times are short, you dip into there. It's the whole thing. So they want to go in there and tap into that. So even in 2017, I told my wife, if this bill goes through and this happens, start learning how to speak Spanish. We're moving to Miami. And that was obviously an early thought to what we are obviously now in Florida. So now fast forward into 2024, you talk to anybody that we know personally, even ourselves, to be honest, money's short. There's a huge, obviously, think about it. We've been 5 years of high inflation, so everything. So what does that do to your bank book? Clearly, if you're making, even for us, like we're pretty much projected to the last, let's say, 8-9 years of making a certain income. And if everything goes up 30-40%, clearly that's coming out of your savings. So, you talk to anybody, even with a fixed income, this is a huge negative clearly right now. This is a lot of our clients selling to cash out, repurpose money to debt. It's a whole disaster. So there's some conversation there. We can go on for hours with that. But what I want to go into right now is what we're advising clients is that move your money outside of the country clearly right now until there's a direction. There is no direction for the country. It looks like the Liberals got voted in 3 times. They had 3 opportunities to punch them out and change direction. Canadians won the Liberal Party. It is what it is. And now we got a 4th opportunity to kick them out and kind of hopefully do some course correction. But I don't feel it either. I think it's going to go Liberal again, to be honest. Sadly to say, I think it's the wrong direction, but I think that's more than likely what it's going to be. I don't know, just my feeling. I hope I'm wrong with that as well. But what we're advising clients is move your money out of the country until there is a direction. And where do you move it to? The United States. And if you don't think that's a good idea because there's some tariff war, it's all bullshit. The tariffs have just literally going to come into play in a week from now. So the poverty of Canada is done by the current administration that's in. So always remember that. That's what did the damage. What America is going to do with Canada? More damage, clearly. And that's based on a weak administration that we currently have in Canada right now. So that's all bad government. And that's what we're seeing right now. So at the end, is the tariffs going to hurt Canada? 1,000%. There's not even a question about it. Where would you invest your money if you take all your emotions out of it and your hockey, your competitions, or whatever the hell you guys look at, literally put it into the United States? Why? I'll show you. And I know it's a touchy subject, even with some friends of mine, educated friends and all, and you try to have a conversation about this and they get all emotionally bundled up and they shut down. But it's not about that. It's about your hard-earned money, what happens to it. And if you kind of look at this has been going around, this is viral through Instagram, and I saw it actually on Instagram first, and it kind of makes sense. I've been talking about this forever, where when the administration came into power in 2015, I told my wife that he's going to create a big Montreal. If you've ever been to Montreal, it's always been stagnation, no growth, beautiful city, but it's been, you wouldn't want to live there economically, nor would I want my kids. And where's Montreal based off? Like a European style, Italy, whatever, all those European countries. There's just stagnation just across the board. We're not used to stagnation. We're in North America. We're used to growth. If I feel stagnation, I feel trapped. Like, there's no opportunities to get forward. And long and behold, 10 years later, we're in a big Montreal, like Europe-based country now, currently in Canada. Well, look at this. This is going around viral on Instagram. So this is Canada per capita economic growth laggard for 10 years. And this is an important word, what this actually all means. So I wrote a few points here. So basically what this all means is slow improvement in living standards. People living in lagging economies have relatively smaller increases or even stagnation in their income standards of living over the past 10 years. So this is what I'm talking about Canada, how it literally is a big Montreal now, or this has become Europe. And this is where the stagnation is. So it's very slow improvement where it's going to take 1-2 years to sell a property. Rates are always high. You feel like you're never going forward. And I have family in Europe, and this is how it is. Every time I visit, I feel like, the food's great, everything, culture is fantastic, but there's no room to go. Another point, falling behind compared to faster growing nations. Laggards risk widened economic disparities. They may experience lower productivity, reduce competitiveness, and diminish ability to invest in infrastructure, education, healthcare, or innovation. And they should also put for crime, obviously for violence and all the stuff that we're seeing now in Toronto. Let's really talk about that. So if you look at infrastructure as well, if you've ever been down where we are in Southwest Florida, you don't find a stick of gum, chewing gum on the floor, nor a cigarette butt. Everything is marvelously cleaned, and it's not because people don't litter, it's maintained really well. But now we get down to Toronto, we go head downtown on the major highways, I see growth coming out of the cracks of the highways, major highways that are most traveled, and going down downtown Toronto, you'll see growth, like unmanaged, unmaintained roads, almost like dystopian in a way. And that's already falling behind. That's one of these points. And then long-term consequences, which clearly this is the generation, your kids, their kids, is a persistent low per capita growth can lead to increased poverty, economic instability, and social challenges, making it harder to catch up economically. And now, so that's what this all means. And now look where Canada is, and I believe this is the G7 or the G20 here. This is 16 company, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is 14 countries rather. So Europe into the United States. But look at Canada. Last 10 years, 0.5% of growth compared to the United States, which is 21%. People want to. Everyone's talking negative about America itself, even though they had a rough bump with the last administration, to be honest. But the economy, the GDP is going well, and not to mention the Trump administration now in the last 60 days created $2 trillion of new GDP growth, and every trillion is 1% GDP growth. So they've created $2 trillion in 60 days and over 300,000 future jobs that are going to be coming in. And this is not some bullshit. Businesses, you're talking AI, you're talking all the manufacturing coming back. Obviously that's going to come out of Canada. They're going to lose that. Mexico's going to lose a lot of that too, the manufacturing, all coming back. So these are sticky jobs, people that are going to be blue collar, high income, where it's going to be obviously stimulating the economy going forward. But you look at this as well, gross domestic product, G7 countries. I mean, look where we are, right? It's so different out here, and I think ultimately, even for your future hard-earned dollars, you should really consider moving money out here. If you just don't want to buy real estate, put it in a treasury, whatever you want to do, but you should start making the move. We're selling small properties for clients that just want to move out $60,000 to $100,000 at a time, and we're buying them little townhouses where they're cash flow positive, and at least it's a safe investment. Clearly, it's tangible. And then, when there's a clear direction with Canada going forward, you might want to take the money back. Just remember, you're already 40 cents on the dollar more over here, so you're going to be making 40 cents more on every dollar, every income, every dollar earned through the rent. So you got to put that in consideration. All the mortgage pay down, it's all 40% more than what you would pay that you're making than in Canadian dollars. So just keep that all in mind. I think this is a good opportunity. We're starting to see an uptick now because rates are starting to come down. Also, fuel costs. If you look at fuel costs here in the United States, when we got here, we're at $3.30 a gallon, just around, during the Biden administration. Now we're down to $2.90 a gallon. In the last, let's say, 60 days since Trump came into power, we shut off literally 30 to 40 cents per gallon. And what does that equate to? Like if you had to convert it into liters. So a gallon is 3.7 liters, 3.78 liters. So 3.78 liters divided by 290. So 290. You're at 76 cents a liter. That's what it equates to right now. Remember, we're around 85, 89 with the last administration. So you see this big drop off. Crude oil per pail, I forgot how they per barrel rather, is down $20 in the last 60 days. So what is that all going to do? Inflation's going to come down because cost of energy is coming down. Like oil's based to everything. How transportation gets done, how manufacturing gets completed. All that the price will all come down. We're going in the right direction. Let's just say that. So if you are considering moving some money out, give us a call here at Treviso Realty or come meet us at our office in Woodbridge. We'll be happy to chat with you.